Imagine driving through a forgotten Georgia town, where the air's thick with heat and prejudice, and a racist deputy pulls you over for no reason but the color of your skin. Meet Maya, a 42-year-old black nurse, sharp-witted and battle-worn, who's just trying to get home after a grueling hospital shift. When the deputy's threats turn violent, something inside her snaps a fire she's buried since childhood. Her eyes glow like embers, and in a heartbeat, he's gone, vanished into thin air, leaving only questions and a town ready to burn. Whispers spread like wildfire, accusing Maya of curses, while a mysterious stranger warns her of government eyes watching her every move. What's the secret behind her glowing eyes? A power tied to her mother's hidden past. As the town turns hostile and shadowy agents close in, Maya's forced to confront a truth that could change everything. Is she a victim, a monster, or something more? Each step pulls her deeper into a conspiracy buried for decades, where her spark could ignite justice or destruction. Dive into this gritty, heart-pounding tale of defiance, mystery, and power, where one woman's fight against injustice unveils a world of secrets. You won't believe what happens next. Grab a seat and hold on tight.
What happens when a routine drive turns into a racist showdown? A woman's glowing eyes spark a mystery you won't believe. I'm Maya, 42 years old, a black nurse who's patched up more lives than I can count in this unforgiving world. I am driving through a Georgia town so small it's barely a smudge on the map, where the sun scorches the asphalt until it reeks of tar and shattered dreams. My sedan, a battered relic from the 90s with a cracked dashboard and a temperamental radio, rattles along, the gospel hymns crackling through static, pulling me back to Mama's kitchen, her hands kneading dough, her voice soft but fierce, singing hymns that promise salvation. I'm bone-tired after a double shift at the hospital, my scrubs clinging to my skin, the scent of antiseptic and sweat a constant companion. My eyes ache, my shoulders slump under the weight of 16 hours on my feet, but my mind as sharp. Years of navigating a world that judges me by my skin have honed it like a blade. I grew up in towns like this, where every glance feels like a verdict, every smile hides a barb. You learn to keep your chin up, your words measured, even when the air's thick with prejudice, heavy as the humid Georgia heat pressing against my car windows. The hospital was chaos today, patients overflowing, monitors beeping like a discordant orchestra, my hands moving on autopilot to bandage wounds, check vitals, offer a smile to a scared kid with a broken arm. I stayed late, covering for a nurse who called in sick, my supervisor's thanks as curt as ever. I argued with a doctor over a patient's chart, his arrogance grating, but I held my ground, my voice steady despite the exhaustion. Now, all I want is my lumpy couch, a glass of sweet tea, and silence. The road stretches empty, just me and the cicadas shrieking in the heat, their chorus a grating lullaby that sets my nerves on edge. I pass faded billboards advertising peach festivals long forgotten, their colors bleached by years of sun. The town's a ghost of itself, boarded up stores, a gas station with a single pump, a diner where the locals cling to routines like life rafts. I'm almost home, dreaming of a hot shower, when red and blue lights stab through my rearview mirror, sharp as a knife in the gut. My stomach twists, a familiar dread settling in. I ease onto the dusty shoulder, hands gripping the wheel at 10 and 2, just like Mama taught me. Stay calm, Maya, she'd say, her eyes knowing too much, like she'd seen this moment coming. I breathe deep, steadying myself, the gospel hymn fading to static as a deputy struts up, his boots crunching gravel like he's grinding bones underfoot. He's pale, his face pinched, eyes cold as winter frost, narrowing as they lock on me. His badge glints under the brutal sun, but it's his sneer that cuts pure contempt, no pretense. License and registration, he snaps, his voice laced with venom, each word a challenge, a dare to step out of line. I hand them over, my movements slow, deliberate, my heart hammering but my face a mask of calm. What's the problem, officer? I ask, my tone even, though the question's a formality. I know the answer. I've been here before, Different roads, same script, same unspoken rules for folks like me. His lips curl into a sneer. You were speeding, he lies, leaning closer, his breath sour with stale coffee and something meaner, something personal. Step out of the car. Now, his hand hovers over his holster, a silent threat that needs no explanation. My blood simmers, anger rising like a tide, but I comply, stepping onto the dusty shoulder, my sneakers scuffing the dirt, kicking up clouds of red Georgia clay. The sun's a tyrant, searing my neck, beads of sweat trickling down my spine. But it's his gaze that burns raw, ugly hatred, like I'm an intruder in his world. You don't belong here, he growls, low and vicious, his sneer twisting into something feral, almost animalistic. We don't need your kind stirring up trouble. The words land like a slap, each syllable a wound, but I've heard worse, felt worse, carried worse in my bones. I stand taller, meeting his eyes, my anger a coiled spring, ready to snap. I'm just driving home, I say, each syllable sharp, controlled, a defiance I've perfected over years of swallowing bile. He laughs, a harsh, barking sound that grates against the cicada's drone, and grabs my arm, yanking me toward his cruiser, his fingers digging into my skin like he's claiming ownership. You're coming with me, he snarls, his grip tightening, his eyes glinting with a sick satisfaction. I flash back to when I was 12, cornered by older kids in an alley behind the church, their taunts slicing through me like knives. Go back where you came from, they jeered, circling closer, their fists clenched. I was scared, tears burning, but something shifted. My eyes burned, just for a moment, a strange heat pulsing through me. They froze, then ran, screaming about ghosts, their faces pale with terror. Mama found me, her face pale, her hands trembling as she pulled me close. Hide the spark, Maya, she whispered, her voice urgent, her eyes dark with secrets. It's not safe, not yet. I didn't understand then, thought it was just a kid's imagination. But now, as this deputy's grip tightens, that same fire surges inside me, fierce, unexplainable, like a dam breaking under pressure. My chest tightens, my breath catches, and my eyes burn like they're molten, glowing bright, unnatural, like twin embers blazing in the daylight, casting an eerie light across the dusty road. The deputy freezes, his hands slackening, his face contorting in terror, eyes wide as saucers, reflecting the glow of my gaze. What in blazes? He stammers, his voice cracking, stumbling backward like he's seen the devil himself. His badge glints once more, then he's gone, vanished, like the air itself swallowed him whole, leaving nothing but a faint ripple in the heat haze, a shimmer that fades as quickly as it came. His cruiser sits empty, its lights flashing red and blue, the radio crackling static into the void, a lonely sound against the cicada's drone. My eyes cool, the burning fading, but my breath is ragged, my hands trembling as I clutch the car door for support, my knuckles white against the peeling paint. The road silent, the town's haze creeping in like a living thing, wrapping around me thick with questions I can't answer. What did I do? My heart pounds, the gospel hymn now a haunting echo in my mind, its melody twisted by the weight of what's happened. I climb back into my sedan, the seat burning hot against my thighs, the leather cracked and worn, smelling faintly of old coffee spills. I start the engine, the rumble shaky, like it's as rattled as I am. I glance in the rearview mirror, half expecting to see the deputy reappear, but there's only dust and empty road, stretching into the distance like a warning. My hands shake as I grip the wheel, my reflection showing dark brown eyes, normal again, but I know better, they're not normal, not anymore. I think of Mama, her warnings, her secrets, the way she'd look at me sometimes, like she knew this day would come. The town's edges fade as I drive, but I feel its eyes, hidden behind shutters, watching, judging, waiting for my next move. I pass the diner, its neon sign flickering like a dying star, the windows fogged with grease and secrets. The gas station looms ahead, its lone pump standing like a sentinel, the attendant staring as I speed by, his silhouette stark against the fading light. My apartment's miles away, A cramped sanctuary filled with photos of mama, old medical books, and a life I thought I understood. But it's no sanctuary now, not after this. Something's awake inside me. Something I can't control. Something tied to this town, to that deputy, to a truth I'm only beginning to glimpse. The horizon blurs with questions, each mile a step deeper into a mystery I didn't ask for. I grip the wheel tighter, my knuckles aching, and drive, the road unfolding like a challenge, daring me to face what's next. When a racist deputy vanishes, what secrets does a woman's glowing eyes hide? You won't believe the town's reaction. I'm Maya, 42, still shaking from that road where my eyes turned to fire and Deputy Harris vanished like a bad dream. My sedan rattles through this Georgia town, its faded porches and sagging signs blurring past, the air heavy with humidity and suspicion. The gospel radio's gone silent, replaced by the hum of my own thoughts, each one sharper than the last. I'm a nurse, trained to mend broken bodies, not unravel mysteries, but here I am, caught in one. My hands grip the wheel, slick with sweat, my scrubs clinging to me, the antiseptic smell mixing with the dust kicked up by the road. My apartment's miles off, but I can't go home yet, not with my heart pounding, my mind replaying that moment when my eyes glowed, bright as embers, and Harris was just gone. I've felt this before, as a kid, when my gaze burned and bullies scattered, their taunts cut short. Mama called it the spark, her voice low, like she was guarding a secret bigger than both of us. I thought it was just stories, childish fancies, but now the truth's staring me in the face, and it's terrifying. I pull into a gas station, its neon sign flickering like a dying pulse, the single pump standing alone in a pool of cracked concrete. The air smells of gasoline and heat. The cicadas drone a constant pressure against my ears. My hands tremble as I fill the tank. The pumps hum a steady drone, grounding me even as my thoughts spiral. What happened to Harris? Did I do that? Could I do it again? The clerk inside, a weary man with a gray beard and eyes like chipped flint, stares through the grimy window, his gaze heavy, accusing. I step inside to pay, the bell above the door jangling like a warning. The air stale, thick with cigarette smoke and old coffee. You hear about Deputy Harris? He mutters, his voice barely above a whisper, his fingers pausing on the cash register. Gone. Poof. Folks say he stopped a woman on Route 5, someone who didn't belong. My stomach lurches, but I force a shrug, tossing a crumpled 10 on the counter. Don't know anything about it, I say, my voice steady despite the lie. His eyes narrow, but he takes the money, his silence louder than words. His words cling to me, heavy as the humid air, as I head back to my car, the gravel crunching under my sneakers. I need answers, or at least coffee to keep my head clear, so I drive to the diner, a greasy spoon where the air's thick with bacon grease and regret. The parking lot's packed with pickup trucks and a few rusted sedans, their owners spilling out like they've got nowhere else to be. I park, my sedan dwarfed by a monster truck with mud-caked tires, and step inside, the bell chiming a lonely note. The place is buzzing, locals in faded flannel, truckers with weathered faces, all hunched over plates of eggs and hash browns. Silence falls as I walk in, forks hovering, eyes boring into me like I'm a stain on their perfect world. I slide into a booth, the vinyl cracked and sticky, the table scarred with years of initials carved by bored hands. The waitress, her hair teased into a blonde tower, pours my coffee with a trembling hand, her name tag reading Darlene, you're her, ain't you? She whispers, her voice shaky, her eyes darting to the other patrons. The one Harris stop. I sip my coffee, the bitter burn grounding me, and meet her gaze. Just here for coffee, I say, my tone clipped, but the whispers spread like wildfire, a low hum that drowns out the jukebox's twang. Heard he just vanished. A trucker mutters from the counter, his voice rough, his eyes flicking to me. Poof, like some kinda curse. Another, a weary man with a cross necklace, leans in, his voice hushed. Town's been funny since she rolled through. Ain't right. I want to shout I didn't ask for this, that I'm just trying to get home, but the words stick in my throat. Did I cause it? The memory of my eyes glowing, the deputy's terror, burns fresh, and I grip my mug tighter, the ceramic warm against my palms. Darlene lingers, wiping the counter too long, her eyes nervous. Folks say you gotta look about you, she says, almost to herself. Like trouble follows, I force a laugh, bitter, and toss a few bucks on the table. Trouble finds me, I say, standing, my voice sharper than I mean. The room watches as I leave, the bell chiming again, a hollow sound against the weight of their stairs. Driving toward home, I pass the sheriff's station, a squat brick building with a flag drooping in the heat. Deputies swarm the lot, radios crackling, their faces taut with suspicion, their eyes catching mine as I drive by. I keep my gaze forward, my knuckles white on the wheel, but the town's turning on me, a noose tightening with every mile. My apartment's a small, cluttered haven, photos of mama, medical books, a worn quilt, but it feels like a cage now. I lock the door, my hands shaking, and sink onto the couch, the springs creaking under my weight. My phone buzzes, the screen lighting up with a text. No sender, we know what you did. My breath catches, my eyes burning again, just a flicker, the room humming with a strange energy. I think of mama, her warnings about the spark, her insistence that I hide it, but hiding's not an option anymore. The town's whispering, the deputies are circling, and whatever's inside me is awake, restless, demanding to be understood. I stare at my reflection in a cracked mirror, my dark brown eyes normal for now, but I feel the fire beneath, waiting to erupt. I'm trapped, and the walls are closing in, each second pulling me deeper into a mystery I didn't choose. When a stranger knows too much, what does he want with a woman's power? Her glowing eyes hold secrets you can't miss. I'm Maya, 42, holed up in my apartment, the blinds drawn tight against the town's accusing glares, my heart still racing from Deputy Harris's vanishing. This Georgia speck's turned into a pressure cooker, and I'm the one they're boiling. My coffee's gone cold, the mug sitting on a scarred table beside a stack of medical journals, their pages dog-eared from late-night study sessions. My scrubs lie crumpled on the floor, a reminder of yesterday's chaos, the hospital's endless demands, and that moment on the road when my eyes glowed, bright as fire, and Harris was gone. I keep replaying it, the deputy's sneer, his grip, the sudden heat in my eyes, his terror before he vanished into thin air. It's like a fever dream, but the knot in my chest says it's real, undeniable, a truth I can't outrun. I sift through a showbox of old photos, pulling out one of mama, her smile warm but her eyes sharp, like mine, like they could pierce through lies. She never explained the spark, just told me to hide it, her voice heavy with secrets, her hands trembling as she tucked me into bed. I think back to when I was 8, playing in the churchyard after Sunday service, the air thick with jasmine and sermon echoes. Kids teased me, their words cruel, their laughter sharp. My eyes burned, just a flicker, and they froze, backing away, their faces pale. Mama yanked me home, her grip tight, whispering, "Don't let it show, Maya." Not ever. I thought it was shame, fear of being different. But now I wonder what she knew, what she carried. The hospital's been my life since long shifts, patients' gratitude, coworkers' banter, but it's never erased the weight of those moments. The spark I buried deep. Now it's awake, and I'm scared, not just of what I did, but of what I might be capable of doing next. A sharp knock jolts me, my heart leaping into my throat. I peer through the peephole, my breath shallow, and see a man, maybe 60, black, with salt and pepper hair and a trench coat worn thin at the elbows, like it's seen too many storms. "Maya, we need to talk," he says, his voice low, urgent, carrying through the door like a warning. I don't know him, but he knows me too well, too much. My instincts scream to bolt, but curiosity wins, and I open the door, my hand hovering near the lock, ready to slam it shut. He steps in, his eyes scanning the room, taking in the quilt, the photos, the clutter of a life under siege. He calls himself Elias, says he's been tracking people like us, his voice steady but heavy, like he's carrying a burden too. I scoff, sarcasm my armor, my arms crossed tight, like us. What cursed, haunted, you selling ghost stories now? He's unfazed, pulling a faded photo from his pocket. Me, 8 years old, at that church picnic, my eyes glowing, bright as stars, caught on film. My breath catches, my fingers trembling as I take it. The paper worn but the image clear, undeniable. Your eyes are a gift, Elias says, leaning closer, his voice dropping to a whisper, tied to something ancient. Something the government's buried for decades. I laugh, bitter, the sound harsh in the quiet room. Government conspiracies. You sound like a street preacher with a tin hat. But his gaze is steady, unyielding, and he mentions a facility nearby, shut down in the 80s. After incidents nobody talks about. My eyes narrow, my mind racing. Mama lived here then, worked odd jobs, kept to herself. Was she part of this? Elias keeps talking, his words measured, each one landing like a stone. They've been watching you, Maya. Harris wasn't random, he was their pawn. Sent to test you. My head spins, the room closing in. The air thick with the weight of his words. I want to call him crazy, to throw him out. But that photo, Mama's secrets, the spark, it's too much to dismiss. My eyes burn, just a flicker, and Elias nods, like he expected it. You're not alone, he says, but you're in danger. Before I can demand answers, he's gone, slipping out the door like a shadow, leaving me with the photo and a creeping dread that claws at my gut. I lock the door, my hands shaking, and sink onto the couch, the springs creaking under my weight. The apartment hums, a low vibration, like it's alive, responding to the fire inside me. I stare at the photo, my younger self staring back, those glowing eyes a promise and a threat. Mama's warnings echo, her voice urgent, her face pale in memory. The town's whispers, the deputy's glares, Elias's words, they're pieces of a puzzle I don't want to solve, but I have no choice. My phone's silent, but I feel the weight of that anonymous text, the town's suspicion, the eyes watching from every corner. I'm not just a nurse anymore, I'm a target, caught in a web I didn't weave. My eyes burn again, the mirror across the room reflecting a faint glow, and I know there's no going back. Whatever this spark is, it's part of me, and it is pulling me toward a truth I am not sure I am ready to face. When a woman digs into her past, what truths do her glowing eyes reveal? The town's hostility hides a chilling secret. I'm Maya, 42, and this Georgia town's a pressure cooker ready to explode, with me at the center of the blast. Elias's warning government watchers, my glowing eyes as a gift has me rattled, but I'm not hiding anymore. I'm at the library, a crumbling relic with flickering fluorescent lights and the musty smell of old paper, my sneakers squeaking on the linoleum as I weave through stacks of forgotten books. The librarian, a gray-haired woman with glasses perched on her nose, eyes me warily, like I'm a storm about to break. I ignore her, pulling newspapers from 1985, my fingers smudged with ink as I scan brittle pages. A headline stops me cold. Local woman vanishes after strange light sighting. The article describes a woman black, like me, whose eyes glowed during a town fair. Then she was gone, no trace, followed by a government sweep that silenced witnesses. My pulse races, my hands trembling. Mama lived here then, worked at a diner, kept to herself. Was she part of this? Another clipping mentions a facility nearby, closed after unexplained phenomena in the late 80s, the details vague but chilling. My eyes burn, the paper crinkling under my grip, as if it feels the fire inside me. I think back to Mama's stories, told in whispers after bedtime, about women in our family who saw things others couldn't. I thought they were fairy tales, meant to soothe a kid who felt out of place, but now they feel like warnings. The hospital's been my anchor. Long shifts, patience, gratitude, the steady rhythm of vitals, but it's slipping away, replaced by this mystery. I stayed late last night, stitching a teenager's knife wound, his mother sobbing, my hands steady despite the chaos. My coworker, Janine, teased me about my healing touch, but there's nothing healing about what happened to Harris. I push the thought away, focusing on the clippings, each word a thread tying me to Mama, to this town, to something bigger than myself. I leave the library, the sun blinding, the air thick with heat and dust. As I reach my sedan, a mob blocks my path, led by a red-faced man in a trucker hat, his flannel shirt stained with sweat. "You cursed Harris," he bellows, his voice raw, his buddies clutching tire irons, their eyes wild with fear and anger. The crowd, maybe 10 locals, shopkeepers, a few diner regulars, murmurs, their faces a mix of suspicion and dread. I stand tall, sarcasm my shield, my arms crossed. "What?" I waved a magic wand and poof, "He's gone?" I snap, my voice sharp, cutting through their murmurs. My eyes flicker, a hint of glow, and the trucker flinches, his tire iron dropping with a clang. "She's a witch," a woman hisses, clutching a cross necklace, her face pale. I laugh, bitter, stepping closer. "If I'm a witch, you'd best step back," they scatter, muttering about demons, their courage grumbling under the weight of my gaze. I climb into my car, my hands shaking, the engine sputtering as I pull away, their shouts fading but their fear lingering like a bad smell. I stop at the diner for coffee, needing a moment to think, the neon sign buzzing, the windows fogged with grease. The place is half empty, the jukebox playing a sad country tune, the air heavy with grease and tension. I slide into a booth, the vinyl sticking to my thighs, and order coffee, my voice steady despite the stares. A woman in a suit watches me from the counter, her earpiece glinting like a warning, her blonde hair pulled tight, her face cold as marble. She's no local, to polished, to precise, her black blazer out of place among flannel and denim. She approaches, her heels clicking, her voice like ice. "Maya, you're causing trouble. Stop digging, or you'll regret it," I smirk, defiant, leaning back in the booth. "Regret's an old friend. Try me." My eyes flare, just a moment, and she steps back, her composure cracking, her hand twitching toward her earpiece. "You don't know what you're dealing with," she says, then turns, her heels echoing as she leaves. I sip my coffee, the bitter taste grounding me, but my hands tremble, the room humming with a strange energy. The drive home is a blur, the town's faded signs and sagging porches a reminder of its decay, its secrets. My apartment's no sanctuary now, the lock clicking shut behind me, the air stale with dust and fear. I sink onto the couch, the quilt Mama made soft against my skin, its stitches, a map of her love. The library clippings sit on the table, their words burning in my mind. Mama, the facility, the glowing eyes. My phone silent, but I feel the weight of that anonymous text, the town's suspicion, the suit's warning. My eyes burn again, the mirror reflecting a faint glow, the room vibrating like it's alive. I'm onto something big, something tied to Mama, to me, to this spark I can't control. The town's closing in, the deputies circling, the government watching, and I'm not sure who's the hunter and who's the prey. But I'm not running, not yet. Whatever this power is, it's mine. And I'll use it to find the truth, no matter what it costs. When a woman's eyes glow brighter, what happens to those who cross her? The deputies' return shocks everyone. I'm Maya, 42, and my world's a wildfire, my glowing eyes the spark that's burning it down. This Georgia town's a tinderbox, and I'm the match they didn't see coming. My powers are surging, unpredictable, each pulse of heat in my eyes stronger, shaking the air like a storm brewing. I'm in the town square, the sun high, the heat pressing against my skin, my scrub swapped for a faded t-shirt and jeans, the fabric worn but comfortable, a small rebellion against the town's judgment. The square's bustling, locals haggling at a farmer's market, kids chasing a stray dog, the air thick with dust and the scent of overripe peaches. I'm here to clear my head, to escape the whispers, but they follow me, heads turning, eyes narrowing, fingers pointing as I pass. My phone's been silent since that anonymous text, but the weight of it lingers, a reminder that someone's watching, waiting for me to slip. I'm buying a coffee from a cart, the vendor's hands shaky as he hands me change, when a commotion erupts near the courthouse. A squat brick building with a drooping flag. Deputy Harris stumbles from an alley, his uniform torn, his face gaunt, his eyes wild with terror, like he's seen the end of the world. The crowd gasps, market stalls forgotten, as he collapses to his knees, pointing at me, his voice shattering the morning calm. It was her. He screams, his finger trembling, his eyes reflecting a fear I've never seen. Her eyes. They dragged me to a dark place, cold, endless. He sobs, his words spilling out, confessing to harassment, assaults, bribes, crimes the town swept under the rug for years. I targeted her, stopped her for nothing, like I did to others. He wails, his voice breaking, because I could. The crowd murmurs, some shocked, others nodding, like they knew but never spoke. My heart pounds, my hands trembling. I didn't plan this, didn't ask for his return, but I feel no pity, only a strange satisfaction, like justice is clawing its way out. The sheriff's there, a burly man with a gray mustache, his face grim as he pushes through the crowd, his badge glinting like a warning. Maya, we need to talk, he says, his voice low, but his eyes betray fear, darting to my face, searching for the glow. I stand tall, my arms crossed, my sarcasm sharp. Talk, or lock me up for something I didn't choose? He flinches, his hand twitching toward his radio, but he doesn't call for backup, not yet. The crowd watches, breathless, the air thick with tension, the dogs barking a distant echo. My eyes burn, just a flicker, and a streetlight across the square explodes in a shower of sparks, the glass tinkling to the pavement. The crowd gasps, some stepping back, others clutching crosses or phones, filming me like I'm a sideshow. I don't run. I step toward the sheriff, my voice steady. You want answers? So do I. He nods, reluctant, and gestures toward the station. But I'm not cuffed, not yet. We're halfway across the square when the woman in the suit appears, her blonde hair pulled tight, her earpiece glinting, flanked by two men in black, their faces blank but their hands hovering near concealed holsters. She's the one from the diner, her presence colder now, her voice like a blade. Maya, you're a liability, she snaps, her eyes narrowing, her blazer crisp despite the heat. Stop this, or we'll stop you. I grin, fearless, the fire in my chest roaring. Try me, I say, my voice low, my eyes blazing, the glow bright enough to cast shadows, the air humming with energy. The men in black step back, their hands dropping, their faces pale. The suit's composure cracks, her earpiece crackling as she mutters something I can't hear. You're making a mistake, she says, but she retreats, her heels clicking as they disappear into the crowd, leaving a chill in their wake. The sheriff leads me to the station, the crowd parting like I'm a plague, their whispers a low hum, fear, anger, all mixed together. Harris is bundled into a cruiser, still sobbing, his confessions echoing in my mind, a weight I didn't expect to carry. I think of Mama, her warnings about the spark, her insistence that it was dangerous, that it drew trouble. She was right, but I'm not hiding anymore. The station's a squat building, the air inside stale with coffee and paperwork, the deputies staring as we enter, their radios crackling with urgent chatter. My eyes glow again, unbidden, and a desk lamp flickers, its bulb popping with a sharp crack. The sheriff stops, his face pale, but he doesn't speak, just gestures to a chair. I sit, my hands steady, my mind racing. Harris's return, his confessions, the suit's threats, they're pieces of a puzzle, and I'm the key, whether I like it or not. I think back to the hospital, a patient last week, an old man who grabbed my hand, his eyes cloudy but sharp. You got a light in you, girl, he said, his voice raspy, like my grandma did. Don't let him snuff it out. I brushed it off, but now it feels like prophecy. The suit, Elias, the clippings, they're all connected, tied to Mama, to this town, to the spark I can't control. The sheriff's radio crackles, a voice mentioning federal agents, and I know the suit's not done with me. My eyes burn, the room humming, the air thick with possibility. I'm not just a nurse, not just a woman they can bully, I'm something more. something they fear, and I'm starting to understand why. The town's watching, the government's closing in, and my power's rewriting the rules, one glow at a time. When a woman embraces her power, what secrets does she uncover? Her glowing eyes expose a hidden truth. I'm Maya, 42, no longer just a nurse stitching wounds in a world that tries to break me. My glowing eyes are a beacon now, each pulse a declaration of who I am, a fire this Georgia town can't extinguish. I'm at the sheriff's station, a squat brick building with peeling paint, and the stale smell of coffee and fear, sitting across from the sheriff, his gray mustache twitching as he avoids my gaze. Deputy Harris is locked in a cell down the hall, his confessions harassment, assaults, bribes still echoing, shaking this town's rotten core. The crowd outside lingers, their murmurs seeping through the walls, a mix of awe and suspicion, their phones still buzzing with videos of my glowing eyes. My t-shirts damp with sweat, my jeans worn but grounding, a reminder of the life I'm fighting for, the life Mama wanted for me. Her warnings about the spark ring in my ears, her voice urgent, her eyes sharp, like she knew I'd end up here, facing a truth she couldn't share. The woman in the suit strides in, her blonde hair pulled tight, her earpiece glinting, her blazer crisp despite the heat. She's alone this time, her men in black nowhere in sight, but her presence is a blade, cutting through the station's hum. Maya, you can't win, she says, her voice cold, her eyes narrowing like she's sizing up a threat. I laugh, my voice steady, leaning back in the chair, its metal creaking under my weight. Watch me, I say, my eyes flaring, the glow bright enough to cast shadows, the room humming with energy. She flinches, her hand twitching toward her earpiece, but she doesn't retreat. Instead, she slides a file across the desk, its cover stamped classified, the paper worn but heavy with secrets. You want the truth, she says, her voice low, almost reluctant. Here it is, but it won't change anything. I open it, my hand steady, the sheriff watching, his face pale, his radio silent for once. The file's a gut punch, pages detailing people like me. Eyes that glow, powers suppressed by a government program since the 1950s, labeled Project Eclipse, names, dates, locations, all redacted in parts, but one stands out: Mama's, listed as terminated in 1985, the year after I was born. My throat tightens, my fingers tracing her name, the ink smudged but undeniable. She was like me, her spark snuffed out, her life erased to keep this secret buried. The file mentions the facility near town, a testing ground for anomalous subjects, closed after incidents that killed dozens, including Mama. My eyes burn, the paper crinkling, the room's lights flickering as my power surges, unbidden, a storm I'm only starting to control. The suit watches, her composure cracking, her voice softer now. You're not the only one, she says, but you're the strongest we've seen. That's why they want you gone. I think back to the hospital, a patient last month, a woman with scars like a roadmap, who whispered, "You're marked, child," like my sister was. I brushed it off, but now it's clear. Mama, this woman's sister, me, we're threads in a tapestry the government's desperate to unravel. The sheriff shifts, his voice hesitant. Maya, you've done us a favor, exposing Harris. Town's grateful, some of them. I nod, wary, knowing gratitude's fleeting in a place like this. The crowd outside softer now, some nodding as I glimpse them through the window, their fear turning to respect, their whispers carrying my name like a prayer. I'm not sure I trust it, but it's a start, a crack in the town's armor. Elias finds me as I leave the station, his trench coat flapping in the evening breeze, his salt and pepper hair catching the fading light. His eyes glow faintly, a mirror of mine, and I know he's like me, part of this hidden world. There's more of us, he says, his voice steady, his hand gripping my shoulder, a gesture of solidarity. They can't hide us forever. We'll fight, Maya, together. I nod, my eyes glowing freely now, the air humming, the streetlights flickering as we walk. The file's tucked under my arm, its secrets await I'm ready to carry, a map to others like us, to a truth the suits can't bury. Mama's death wasn't in vain. She passed the spark to me, and I'll use it to burn their lies to ash. The town's different now. The diner's neon sign glowing steady, the gas station attendant waving as I pass, a small gesture but enough. My apartment still a mess, photos, books. Mama's quilt but it's home, a place to plan, to fight. The mirror reflects my glowing eyes, no longer a curse but a strength, a promise to Mama, to myself. I'm part of something bigger, a battle against injustice, secrecy, and fear, and I'm ready to lead. My spark a beacon for those still hidden. The road ahead's uncertain, but I'm not alone, and that's enough for now.